Hey everybody. Hey. Another time, another round of coffee talk. This time it's Black Stag Iced Latte Vanilla, and supposedly it gives you energy. I already shook it, I already opened it, so I'm prepared to drink it. Here we go. Ugh, it's definitely vanilla. It's got like a hint of like, tastes like motor oil or something. It's not my favorite. Some people might like this. I can't say that I really do. No. First of all, before I get into what I want to talk about today, I have to say that it's so funny because some of my coworkers that do watch my channel will get in like new little coffees, and they already told me, they're like, you should try this one for your coffee talk," and it's like, yeah, I probably should. So that was one of them. I tried it. It was only 50 cents, so I can't really holler. But anyway, there you go. Tried it. um, moving on, though. So, there are a lot of things happening. You know, this year has brought COVID-19 and a lot of political discussions, a lot of discussions about our governor, and now the latest things that people are talking about and doing something about are, protests and riots. And I don't believe that they're the same thing. To me, a protest is when people are standing up for something and something they believe in, and they're doing it within the law and doing it respectfully, which I can agree with. To me, a riot is when you start breaking things and acting out of control. That I can't get behind. But because we shouldn't want to hurt anyone else just because someone else has been hurt. And an eye for an eye doesn't really always, pan out very well. But anyway, but I think if you support a cause, that you believe in it, you should stand up for it. And, I would say just be respectful about it. Putting that aside, though, that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about is joy. Joy is, to me, it is something beyond happiness. It's happiness with like a brush, yeah, that's a word. A breath of fresh air. See, I kind of just smushed them together. A breath of fresh air added to it with like, I don't know. It just, joy to me is like a step beyond happiness. So, what are some things lately that have brought me joy? Well, a lot of things have brought me joy. Seeing healing work that God has done in people with my own eyes, hearing their testimony, that has brought me joy. People that I was worried about at one point and have prayed for, and now I'm seeing how God has helped them. That is remarkable and brings me just an abundant amount of joy. Another thing, though, and it's a lot more simpler than that, but the one night I was craving, when I was pregnant with both my kids, and you can knock it all you want, and it's okay. It's okay. I encourage you to at least try it just once. But when I was pregnant with both my kids, you know how like just about everybody will eat fries in their Frosties, right? I used to crave Wendy's chicken nuggets dipped in a chocolate Frosty. I don't know what it is. There's something with, I don't know if it's like in the breading of the Frosty, or yeah, the breading of the nugget mixed with the sweetness of the Frosty. I'm not really sure what the exact combination is, but it works. And And so the other night, so before this whole pandemic happened and like everything started shutting down and all that, the last time that I stopped at Wendy's after work to surprise my husband with fries and Frosties for like a little mini date night kind of thing, they didn't have any chocolate Frosties. And I won't eat the vanilla ones. I do not like plain vanilla ice cream. I need something there. So I just got him one and I just had fries. So I really have not had a Frosty since maybe January. Maybe. And here it is like the beginning of June already. So, yeah. So, the other night I was at work and I was like, you know what? I'm just really hungry for chicken nuggets dipped in a Frosty, but I have no idea if the Wendy's that I always go to in the Delco Plaza, they always close at like 8 or 8:30, and I don't get done with work until 8:30, so, can't stop there. But now I saw that the other day they were back open until like 10 or 11. I was like, okay, I'll stop. And I got my husband fries in a Frosty, and I got myself chicken nuggets in a Frosty, and I tried it, and it was like the first little thing that felt normal again. I mean, it's so stupid, maybe not stupid, but it's so simple, and to some of you probably gross, to others of you maybe like, I might try that. I don't know. All I'm saying is it's good. For me. It's good to me. But that was like, it hit me like that's the first real time in like 5 months since I've had a chocolate Frosty. Any time that we have stopped at Wendy's, which hasn't been very often, like they haven't had any Frosties. And like even Burger King wasn't even doing their milkshakes for a while because they couldn't get hold of the creamer, the ice cream or something or whatever. And I'm like, I mean, it's fine, whatever. I don't need it. But you really don't realize how much you miss something until you haven't had it in a while, and then you finally get to, and it's so satisfying. Like that first bite, it was just like, this feels normal. And and that made me feel really full of joy because Frosties are joyful anyway. How can you be mad when you're eating a Frosty? Come on. And if you can be mad eating a Frosty, then I don't know how. I can't see it. But for me, I can't be mad eating a Frosty. If I'm in a bad mood, just feed me a Frosty or some Chick-fil-A and I'm good. So that was the first thing. And then it was either last weekend or the week before. I get all of my days mixed up. True story. But I don't know. I was off and my husband worked during the day. So when he came home, we went on some spontaneous road trip, and which most of you, I'm sure, have seen the pictures on Facebook if we're Facebook friends. But I went on a spontaneous road trip. We went on and we just drove, and there really was no destination. And then all of a sudden he saw this little ice cream stand. So we turned around and we stopped, and I got a mixed. I always get the mixed cones because I love the chocolate and vanilla together. I don't know. It's so good. But it's my favorite way to eat soft serve. And actually I prefer soft serve over like a hard scoop ice cream. I mean, I know there's more flavor varieties, but soft serve, I don't know. There's just something really, like, with rainbow sprinkles. Anyway, so that was my first time, I think, this year, my first soft ice cream in 2020. Because Dairy Queen, let me tell you something, the Dairy Queen closest to my house, the lines have been backed up to Timbuktu. I am not sitting in the line for ice cream. No, sorry. No, I'll get it some other time. And so we did. But that felt normal. That having soft serve, and I guess I just really love ice cream and ice cream products, um, but that made me full of joy, and I looked around, and only one person. There was probably about maybe 10 to 12 people there, including me and my family. Um, and aside from the workers, there was only one person wearing a mask. Everyone else had them off. I think we're all kind of fed up with that. I mean, maybe not all. I think some are definitely not fed up with it and probably will be clinging to them for a while, and that is your choice. You can feel how you want, and that's okay. For me, I'm fed up with them. I'm done with them, and I think once we go green, like, they just need to go. What's the point in whatever? Not political, not trying to be political, but I'm done with them. So when I see other people being together and not wearing them, that feels normal. That is like, when I look at that, that fills me with joy because it's like, yes, you are doing something I want to do. I don't get frustrated when I see people, walking around in the parking lot or whatever, and they don't have a mask on. I feel like a little jealous. Like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could go to work and not have to wear a mask. I mean, I don't wear a mask, I wear a face shield. But even that gets a bit, not quite as stressful. Hold on a second. Okay, that was like a 5-minute break for me. So I don't really remember where I was at. But my point is joyful feelings, okay? Another thing that has brought me so much joy, when initially when we first started back up church, which has been a few weeks now, woohoo, go church peeps. um, I was asked to fill in piano on the worship team, and at first I was kind of a little hesitant, I guess, because well, number one, we only have one car, and I wasn't sure how that was going to work, because the practice is a lot earlier in the morning. But also, like, anytime before that, I would, a year or two ago, when I used to fill in on the piano, like, I would just get really nervous and kind of anxious, and I would be really uncomfortable the whole time. And so I wasn't really focusing on what I should be doing. I was way too focused on, like, playing it perfect. And I really hate that I get that way. I don't try to get that way, especially when I'm worshiping. But that little part of me, that, like, perfectionist when it comes to singing or music or anything, it comes out a lot, and I need to, like, tame the beast when I'm trying to worship, because it's not about how perfect I sound or anyone else sounds, right? So as we learned 4 new songs, which old Mel would be totally intimidated by, that would be stressed out through every note, through every line of every verse, and like, oh, I don't know this, I'm not ready to play this kind of thing. And let me tell you something, God really is working in me and has changed a lot about me, because as soon as we started playing, it was like I just knew them. Like, I've been playing them for years. And I was so comfortable, and it really just all came together. And I just really felt God tugging on my heart, like, this is what you should be doing. I don't want you to just be leading a choir. There's more that you could be doing to show what I've given you, to not show what I've given you, but like, I've given you these talents for a reason, for you to use them to turn around and worship me. And it's not just my voice. I'm not a great piano player, but I can play enough that it works. And so I asked if I could join the worship team, and and now I'm on the worship team, and I'm really happy to be there. And and it really is, but I really do just, every week has been such a blessing. And it's totally different getting to just, because I really am not stressing at all when I'm playing. I'm still trying and doing my best, but there's no stress there. There's no anxiety anymore when it comes to playing the piano, because it's my heart that is wanting to play for God, for the Lord. And that's what makes it, I think, a lot easier, because I'm not focusing on how perfect it sounds, or, am I playing this beat correctly? I'm just focusing on, like, Lord, this is all for you. And, and I think in return, he's just been like, all right, child, I gotcha. But that has brought me so much joy, being a part of the worship team. Like, that's just one more thing about Sunday to be excited about. I mean, I already had a whole list of things to be excited about on Sundays, but now this is another thing added onto that. So, this whole thing is just about joy. And, I encourage you to find your joy. Find what makes you beyond happy. 7 steps beyond happy. Find something that puts so much peace and happiness and such a breath of fresh air into your heart and your mind that you feel complete and utter joy. And tell you what, it's a lot harder without Jesus Christ. And when you are not doing things for God and you're just doing them for yourself, it is really hard to completely feel 100% that super joyful feeling, like nothing's gonna burst that bubble, nothing is gonna take that away from you, so I don't know, but so there you go. Be joyful in all things. And if you don't feel joy right now, then reach out to people who do and have a conversation with them. What makes you happy? How can I feel that same happiness? How can I have that same kind of smile that's on your face? Talk to people who are happy and who enjoy things and look on the positive side. Some people might find it obnoxious, but it can actually be really helpful. So reach out if you need to. And, you can even reach out to me if you need to. I'll be there for anyone. So on that note, have a wonderful day and a stupendous week. And find your own joy and own maybe a different flavor of coffee. All right, have a good one, guys.